Hello again. Today I will be covering some of the more prevalent news topics of the week. The first item is the update made to Feral's game mode. Game mode handles a lot of intricacies with regards to the CPU governors and I/O precedence. This has led to game mode becoming very popular for people who want the most performance when playing games. It was initially written to address issues with how the power save and the on-demand governor interacted with the CPU. But it has now grown to encompassing a wide range of features that supersede the initial functions. Game mode currently supports optimizations to CPU governor, I/O priority, process niceness, kernel scheduling, and so on. This current release has brought about several bug fixes, but more importantly CPU pinning. This fixed a lot of issues in relation to an idle crash that happens from modern Intel CPU with a mix of P and E cores. Also, CPU pinning will greatly increase performance when playing games, as binding certain cores to a process will make sure it has the resources it needs to run the game with maximum utilization. There were also some minor bug fixes as well as improvements made. In privacy news, Google will be facing a class action lawsuit over Chrome's data collection. The lawsuit claims that information was collected without consent using the Chrome Sync service. The lawsuit was first filed in 2020 but has now been revived. In the documents of the class action, it was alleged that Chrome collected data regardless if sync was turned on or not. They claimed that things like IP, history, as well as cookies and unique browser identifiers were shared without sync turned on. But in 2020, the judge dismissed the case, stating that adequate disclosure was given to the users. But another judge did not agree, resulting to the case to be returned to the lower courts for reconsideration. Next item, we have a blog post by a Red Hat engineer who announced that from Fedora 41 onwards, Pipewire will be the default backend for web camera handling in the Firefox web browser. A lot of fixes were pushed by the developer to bridge the gap between Pipewire and the v4L2 backend. Some work has also been done in making the camera work with Pipewire in WebRTC by other contributors. As of now, he states that version 127 of Chromium already can use Pipewire by default. To do that, you would have to go into the flag options and turn on the Pipewire camera support value to true. The 127 version may be broken, but from version 128 the feature has already been backported. If you want to try this out in Firefox, you would need to go into the About config setting and enable the Allow-Pipewire option. Next, we also have a new significant update to the Z text editor. Recently, they have added new AI feature sets to help with programming. It will assist in things like code completion for various languages with even more advanced features akin to something of the likes of Copilot. This new AI feature will be called ZAI. It is a hosted service which provides support for AI-assisted coding in Z. It will be powered by Anthropic's Claude 3.5 Sonnet. They say that it will be free for the initial launch period. All you have to do is sign in. Take note though that this will likely be a paid feature in the future. Some of the more notable features include the /file command. This command helps bring relevant context from codebase. The perplexity command that can help you list out relevant functions and structures by simply asking the editor, which I find pretty cool. It can use external knowledge and code generation to give you the relevant output you desire by simply invoking the command. You can even do inline transformations, among other notable features. As for Linux news, we have the recent Schedutil patches that would purportedly yield a boost of 30% to web browser response time. These were based on 16 patches made by a Google engineer. It does seem that from the benchmarks provided that it does speed up response time and rendering, which is a huge plus for all Linux users. Also, NVIDIA driver 560.35.03 will be released with more Wayland fixes. NVIDIA with Wayland has always been an issue with each new version breaking one or the other functionality. Sometimes it leads to black screens when trying to boot up the system. At other times you may experience weird glitches. This comes off the back of the open source GPU kernel modules. To highlight the changes, we have things like VR support for laptops, addition of new EGL extensions for X-Wayland, also a lot of other Wayland enhancements. They also fixed a lot of bugs, like when DVI outputs would not work with HDMI monitors. Something I noticed personally was the freeze that happens when hovering over opened applets in compositor mode. This was also patched, as well as the kernel panics that occurred when attempting KMS operations through DRM. In security news, North Korea was blamed for exploiting a Windows 0-day vulnerability. The vulnerability was located in a function driver that acted as an entry point for the WinSock API. It was reported by a security firm privately to Microsoft, which they tracked to a hacking group associated with North Korea. After gaining access, they would install rootkits. The firm claims that the state actors were targeting people working in crypto businesses or aerospace engineering firms. Finally, in the last news item, Libreoffice has had a major update. For those who don't know, Libreoffice is an office suite for creating documents, spreadsheets, and presentations. It is free and open source software, so when you use it to make documents, you can be sure that it's not logging your keystrokes or sending that information anywhere else. It has its own document format for the various types of files, but it is also compatible with Windows Document Suite file extensions. Coming to the updates. The first is a privacy feature that I like a lot. This feature can remove data and metadata information such as timestamps, names, editing duration, and so on. This can help you preserve your privacy when sharing documents to other people or opening them in other applications. It's available in the Tools options and the Security sub-option. There has also been feature additions to each of the different sub-applications. UI, Navigator, as well as hyphenation features were added to Writer. For Calc, new functions were added like XLOOKUP, XMatch, filter, the let function, and so on. They also increased performance for calculations. For Impress, you can now scroll between slides as well as a collapsible pane for taking notes. New chart types are also added like pi of pi and bar of pi. Addition of password-based ODF encryption. PPTX files also will now open faster. These are all welcome additions to one of the most popular applications in Linux. Anyway, thank you for watching my video. If you found it intriguing and pleasant to watch, please consider liking and subscribing. Thank you and have a great day.